It was a warm, clear, bright-skied Palm Sunday in Jerusalem, 1987. It was about the midpoint of my time as vicar or pastoral intern at the Lutheran Church of the Redeemer in the Old City there. After the morning liturgies at the Crusader Chapel that dates back to about 1000, where the English-speaking congregation worshiped, I decided that afternoon to hike up to the Mount of Olives, which overlooks the Old City. That's typically the view that one sees today when you see the photographs of the Temple Mount. I met an American tourist at the top of the Mount of Olives. We both admired the panorama of the city wall, the Temple Mount, the Islamic minarets of many different periods, and the golden domed churches. We tried to imagine together how Jesus entered Jerusalem about 2,000 years ago. In a playful manner, I turned to this American tourist next to me and posed this question. Sir, if Jesus had entered the Holy City in this century, in 1987, what kind of transportation would he have taken? In other words, what would Jesus drive? The fellow paused and then replied, why, of course, a Mercedes-Benz limousine. Then he turned the question back on to me. What do you think Jesus would have driven? Well, probably a worn-out Ford Pinto, which was that generation's equivalent of a 2000 Hyundai Accent with 217,000 miles. Then, the American tourist became visibly angry. He was disturbed by my comment, and he said, how dare our Lord Jesus travel into Jerusalem in such a trap? The King of Kings and Lord of Lords makes his triumphal entry into Jerusalem on a donkey. He comes from the royal family of David and rides into town on a lowly jack. What kind of ruler do we have here? What authority can he wield from the back of a beast of burden? Where is the political clout and the Secret Service protection? Dear friends, pay close attention to our account today. Listen to the kind of ruler we have in Jesus Christ. A ruler who entered town on a donkey, the present-day equivalent of a 2000 Hyundai Accent with 217,000 miles. Jesus enters Jerusalem on a jack, not on a well-groomed war horse. A common robe drapes his body, not a black silken tuxedo. He is preceded by happy children placing palm branches in his path, not by armed guards with AR-15s and bulletproof vests. This is a ruler who came not to flaunt his might and equal standing with God, but who came to share love for the leper, mercy to the prostitute, compassion for the crabby, and inclusion for the rejected. This is a master whose kingdom comes about through emptied and shared power, not grasped and hoarded power. The power of love is our Lord's rule, not the love for power. We are familiar with asking, what would Jesus do? I still have a few of those bracelets from a number of years ago. But today, we are asking, what would Jesus drive? Some folks like to think that he would not drive an SUV, but would prefer a Toyota Prius hybrid that gets 60 miles per gallon. The fact is, we do not know what Jesus would have chosen to drive. In his little book, Broken Words, Paul Scott Wilson surmises that Jesus would have chosen to drive a garbage truck into Jerusalem. In fact, Wilson suggests Jesus is not even driving the truck. He is at the back. He is not riding on that brightly colored step at the back the way we normally see a garbage collector. You know, that step you always wanted to ride on the back of a garbage truck or a fire truck when you were a kid. No. Jesus is walking behind the truck. He is loading the garbage as he passes with rancid juice running down his face. We are standing by the road observing. And when the truck passes, Jesus comes over to each of us. He says, "I'll take whatever you give me," and he tosses it into the truck. Another of you might say, "Okay, here are the heaps of wasted food because I get tired of leftovers. Throw that in the truck." Another of you might say, "I have only an apple core, but I didn't give enough money to hurricane relief for Puerto Rico." Jesus says, "I'll take that. Let's put that in the truck." Others get the idea of this unequal swap. As Jesus walks through the streets, people toss in their mean acts and unkind words to others. Put those in the truck. Someone has a whole wheelbarrow of good deeds they could have done for the least, the last, and the lost, but did not do because they did not think about the needs of others. And Jesus puts that in the truck. Jesus thanks each person and group for giving to him the tons and tons of sinful trash. The trash becomes so heavy and toxic that Jesus Christ becomes completely one with it. Brothers and sisters, here is the beautiful part and glorious news for us today. Jesus turns to each one of us and says, "All this trash is mine. Let me take it from you. And I will give you my life, my righteousness, and my peace in exchange." The trash is removed. The garbage is taken out and hauled away. Jesus has it. Jesus becomes it. He has taken care of it. The garbage will define you.